Just one moment. Fun noises. There we go. Amazingly the same. Okay, so like Mark said, we've got a lot of exciting things going on in Flash Player 10. So when I start talking about these, I really kind of end up talking about three major areas for us, though. Community, performance, and experience. These are all things that are vital to Flash Player and has been vital to our community. Some of the things we've done for the community have been so new capabilities with Actionscript, and this is really something you guys have done for us. We've been trying to add lower level access into Flash Player, and through that we've gotten things like the Hobnox sound framework, we've gotten 3D engines. This is the same technology that allows us to build things like Flex. We've got our community bug base and also feature request area, so please bring your features here. This is actually distinct from the Flex system, so any issues or feature requests, please submit them there. And you know, we've actually gotten a lot of great feature requests. Some of them we've already made progress in Flash Player 10, and I kind of keep checking these on a daily basis and keep seeing the ones that, like, yeah, we were thinking about that one for the next version as well. So it's really been good to see what the community is thinking about and how we've been aligned and how we can do more to help support the community. Also recently, we've opened up the Swift specification. We've had it around on our site for a while, but now you don't actually have to apply for the license or anything like that like you did before. You can just go and download it and read it out in the open. We've also open sourced our virtual machine. This isn't new news, but just including it in what we're thinking about here. And a greater visibility into what we're doing. We started out our beta process much earlier than we have in the past, bringing in new features as they've come in. Some of the things we're working on in this beta process is around performance. So thinking about code execution, which is something we really talked about a lot in Flash Player 9, we've started really thinking about it in terms of your entire application, so the whole application's performance. So we certainly have the improvements we've done with AVM2, and you know, we're taking some new elements, some new language features, like a really cool one is vector. So if you work a lot with arrays, you're pretty much going to forget about them pretty soon and move completely over to vector. It's just like an array, except for, you know, we've seen at the application level 40% performance increases just by switching a data type in an application. There's not many things that you can do that really get that sort of level of increase. So, but a really big one you're going to see is overall Flash Player 10 is taking a lot of the same directions as Flash Player 8 in terms of creative expression, trying to really drive what you can do and how much more you can do within the browser experience. And so as part of that, we wanted to really take what we did in the Flash Player 9 Update 3 for visual performance around things like multi-core rendering. We are actually upping it some more, so now we'll support up to 8 cores. We're doing things like mapping, which actually allow for better image control and scaling along with better performance. We're introducing a new shader technology, which, you know, this is my favorite feature of Flash Player 10. It's a technology called Pixel Bender. I'm going to be showing some demos of that in a moment, but it's a great technology that is coming into Flash Player with its own JIT, and really what we're talking about is a big number crunching engine. So even if the idea of filters doesn't really excite you, I think you're going to be pretty amazed by the amount of performance you can get just out of processing binary objects, sound, and even images. We're also going a little bit further into hardware acceleration. Like Mark was mentioning before, in Flash Player 9 Update 3, we did take our first step in there with hardware scaled full screen. We're going to actually be taking that same technology and applying it into the browser experience when you're not full screen. This is blitting the pixels to the screen. Really what you're talking about here is taking some of the load off the CPU so you can do more in your application without taxing the CPU. You'll be working with the GPU in that case. We've taken it a step further as well with the new W-Mode GPU, which will go much deeper into the video card, turning every display object actually into a surface on the GPU and doing the transformations on the GPU much faster, but it's really a part of how we're kind of investing in the future of how we actually make fast, reliable, really cool applications. Experience, though, that's the fun one for Flash Player 10. So we're going to see new things in graphic capabilities, our whole new text engine. some really interesting audio features that we've added to allow you to have deeper access to the sound buffer. Some new video and rich media experience possibilities, as well as some communication protocols we've added. But one thing I did want to talk about with the experience, though, is outside of Flash Player. Just recently, in the end of June, we announced a project for Swift searchability. We've actually been working with search partners for quite a while to make sure that Swifts are searchable out there. But there are just some limitations, and that's really about the fact that you're creating rich internet applications. These aren't static files that are out there. These are really kind of living applications that change as the user interacts with them. So what we've been working on is Runtime Search. We provided a version of Flash Player to our search providers, and from there they can actually drive through the application like a virtual user, knowing about what sort of event handlers are being registered and being able to simulate them to actually create an experience through search that is very much like what an end user would see and provide much better search results as part of that. But actually, I'll show this one before I go into my demos. So what you can do right now, it's available on Adobe Labs, so go Astro. You can download the Flash Player. You can also download the components that work with, the compiler that works with it on the open source site. You can see our documentation already, and you can just see a lot of videos and examples of what you can do with Flash Player 10. I'm going to be going into this all a bit more in detail on Wednesday at 1 o'clock, so I hope to see some of you there. But without further ado, of the demos. Ooh, got a little bit smaller. Let's see, just one moment, let me... oops, one. This will support 1024, right? Okay, cool. Good. Okay, so the one I mentioned first was Pixelbender. And what this really is the shading language I was telling you about. You actually will write shaders that are really pretty small. It's just a function that goes through every pixel and manipulates it. These are some examples that have already been submitted by the community. We have an exchange available on Adobe already to start submitting these. This is actually technology that's already working in After Effects, and we expect this to have a life beyond Flash. It can run on any type of content, if that's vector, bitmap, or even video. And here I'm going to show some pretty high-resolution video running in a fairly complex filter, and it's not dropping frames, it's keeping up. The performance is really great on this one. I love showing this one. It's kind of a bit of a wild example of the video running this kind of wacky filter. But the one additional thing, as long as I put in here, is file reference access. Doesn't seem like it should have anything to do with Pixelbender, but wait, there's a tie-in. And what that is we've had file reference access for a while in Flash Player, and a change we're making in Flash Player 10 is runtime access to the files. So if I load a file in here, I can actually take that filter, load it in, and I can access it as binary. So I've taken the shader file and just loaded it in. This is a twirl filter. And because our filters are actually, you can know about them at runtime, you can actually query all the parameters and properties. I've actually built a dynamic UI for modifying the parameters of my twirl filter at runtime. Just to continue the theme of the file reference. I'm using Tinikero's ping builder class, and I can actually save an image here. So I've got my twirl running on the video. I'm going to go ahead and quit this. And on my desktop, I'm actually able to take content from the runtime and save it back down to the desktop. I'm hoping you guys can figure out a couple of clever things to do with this. It's one of our most requested features from the community, and we're really excited to be able to offer it. Nope. Oh, sorry. Thank you. That is an excellent point. So this was completely runtime. Actually, if you notice up here, no, nothing up my sleeves, no network on my laptop. It happened just